Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Monday, the 2nd of February, 2015, and this is episode 114. Happy Monday! I know, right? So after 3 weeks of not being on schedule, I'm apparently back on schedule. This may or may not be actual schedule. I had the weekend off unexpectedly. Not in a bad way, but I knew that I had Saturday off, and then my schedule came out on Friday for this week, and I also had Sunday off, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. I'm not arguing it, though. It was nice. I feel all rested. I don't usually get 2 days off in a row, so that was nice. Today is Groundhog's Day, as you can tell by this lovely hat that my son made at school today. He just got home from the bus, and he put it on my head, and he was like, look, Mom! And I was like, okay, I will wear it for a little while. Maybe the whole episode. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Did you have a good week? I hope you did. I realized that I haven't given you an update on Steve in a while, so let's do that really quick. They told us a whole bunch of things that it's not, but not yet what it is. However, to deal with his liver. However, his liver function is back to normal, so much so that his doctor said that if he really wanted to, he could drink 2 beers a day, but I mean, he's not, because when your liver function was just severely messed up, why would you mess with it like that? But he has been having an occasional drink, like he went to a Super Bowl party yesterday, and he had a couple beers, so anyway, that's exciting, right? That's good. Steampunk knit along. I did not work on my project. I'm a fail. But it runs through March 31st, so as long as you finish something between January 1st and March 31st that is steampunk-ish and you can justify it, it will go into, I will count it. That means works in progress are okay. So if you started it before the beginning of the year, as long as you finish it January 1st to March 31st, it counts. You can get up to 3 entries per project. Information for that are in the threads, which have been started. And yeah, that's the Steampunk Knit Along. I hope you're doing better than I am. I'll get back to it. I don't know, it was all the baby knitting last month. I just got thrown off schedule. So speaking of baby knitting, I have 2 finished objects. I'll show you the one that I had started last week, that I had started casting on but not finished the cast on. I made the Baby Surprise Jacket by Elizabeth Zimmerman, and it is so cute and also magic. So apparently I can't wear the hat because it slides around too much, because it's made for, you know, my 6-year-old's head, not mine. So this is the jacket, and it is super, super cute and a total magic. So this is what it looked like right after I bound off. And as I was knitting it, I was like, how is this going to turn into a sweater? I just don't understand. Like, I know that it will. I have faith that it will because tons of people have knit them. But look at how small that is. The arm span is across my shoulders. It's like just a skosh bigger than my shoulder span. Anyway, I knew it would work, but I just couldn't, like, from the diagram, I couldn't figure out how it was working, probably because it was really late at night when I was trying to figure it out. And then I set down my knitting one morning after I was past the halfway point to go take a shower, and when I came back, it had folded itself into a Baby Surprise Jacket. Like, I could see how it all went together, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so close to finished. So now I'm finished, and it's really cute. And now I'm wondering if I put this button in the wrong place because it's got that gap right there, or if it's just because of how the stuff happens right there. I think it's just how the stuff happens. There's an increase line right there, which you can clearly see, and I think my increase is just pulling a little. It's okay. I have yet to wash this. Not that it will, it's made out of acrylic, so that won't like super help, but acrylic does relax a little when you wash it. Um, Speaking of what it's made out of, I do. I used just under a full skein of this yarn to make this blanket, like really just a handful of grams left over. So what I used is the Bernat Softy Baby in the Little Trees colorway. I had to use a US 3.25 millimeter needle to get the gauge for a newborn size sweater, which is what I wanted to make because it is super cold in Michigan right now, which is where my nephew will be born. And I would like him to be able to wear this sweater immediately. I have a second colorway of this yarn. I think you can see it. It's, oh, wrong side. So right there. It's a little more blue, still with greens. So I might try the larger size and make him that sweater too, because babies grow really, really fast. So hopefully this will fit him. It just may not necessarily go down all the way down his arms or whatever, but my plan is to send out this sweater and the baby cocoon today or tomorrow, depending. Steve took the day off today because the wind chill is in the single digits, and he's a sales rep, so he walks a lot outside, so he's taking a personal day, which means I would be able to go to the post office today. We'll see how that goes. But this sweater is really, really cool. And I want to make another one. I don't know. See, I just said that I was thinking about making a second one right away, but I don't know because you know how I feel about making things back to back. But this pattern, it's seriously magic. And it's all garter stitch with some increases and decreases. So it's really, really simple take along knitting. And even when it's, full sweater size, this full sweater is still pretty tiny. So it's pretty simple to carry around. It's not really like a sock size, but it's kind of like a shawl size. Still carry aroundable. I also made a G's Great Owl, which is my pattern, for the baby using leftover bits. So on the bottom, I started out with that very little bit of leftover from the blanket, and this is everything that I had left over from the baby surprise jacket. The blue and brown striped down here is leftovers from the modified Buffalo's Crossing cowl that I made. So that's everything that I had left of those. And then these are not quite leftovers because I have large skeins left of them, but these were the two edging yarns, the brown and the blue from the blanket. So I just thought it would be really cute for my nephew. I love these colors together. So hopefully my sister-in-law will like it. Oh, I did use that, this isn't all of the baby surprise leftovers. I did use it around the outside of the eye also. So those are my finished objects, and I am finished making baby things. There is one more pattern that I may or may not make. I haven't decided yet. It's a bunny pattern. I might make it. I haven't decided. But I've mostly moved away from that because it's all finished and I'm sending off a package, and we'll be visiting in a month or so after the baby's born and they're settled in, and I get the go-ahead that it's okay to come visit because it's the first baby, so it's a lot of crazy, and they're going to need time to settle in. And yeah, having too many people there, I found when I had Gabriel that having a lot of people when I wasn't emotionally prepared for it was very, very stressful and not good. And luckily my friends and family were very understanding when I was like, okay, you guys need to leave. But since we'll be traveling to Michigan, I want to make sure that she's not going to be like, okay, you guys need to leave. So we'll be traveling up there sometime next month to give her most of the stuff. I just want to get the immediate use stuff. So the hat, booties, and sleep sack and the sweater out in the mail. And then the stuffed animal and blanket we'll just take up when we go. I have works in progress, and they're all new things. I swatched yesterday I didn't start anything new. Well, I finished the baby things, and then I didn't start any new things until yesterday. Although I really thought about it really hard on January 31st. The night of, I pulled out all of the projects that I wanted to accomplish this month. I actually accomplished one of those things that's on the blanket, and it's a secret project, so I can't show it to you, but I want to tell you about it. Last week I showed you my tetrahedron bag, and it had a design project in it that I couldn't show you because the yarn is a surprise and the pattern is... Anyway, I couldn't show it to you. And I said that I was probably going to finish it that night. Well, I did. It was a collaborative design though. So I finished the design, and the whole time I was working on the design, I was like, oh, I really don't like this element. But it was something that we had discussed keeping, so I was like, it's fine, I'll just finish the project with the design element. I finished it, finished writing up the very rough draft of the pattern, sent it out, had a test knitter knit it in a day. It's a very fast project. And then I sent it to a test knitter and the collaborator. And the other collaborator was like, so I don't know how to say this, but I kind of hate this part. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you hate it, because I hate that part too. It was something that I struggled with. I ripped out a lot of times, tried redesigning it to make it fit, and it would not fit. It didn't want to. So January 31st, I ripped out almost the entire project. I had just the very beginning of it. And then yesterday I reknit it, taking out the design element that I didn't like, and tweaking a couple other things to make them more what the concept was before we decided to put in the other element. And oh, I love it so much. So good. So basically what I'm saying is, the moral of the story is, if you're hating something about whatever you're working on, if it's your design, if it's a pattern that you're following, just take it out and follow what your instinct is saying, because I feel so much better about the design now. I just finished redoing it last night, so I need to have it test knit again, but the other collaborator is going to test knit it, and since the pattern didn't change very much, that's fine. I'm still going to have a tech editor and everything for that, but yeah, I feel so much better having ripped that out. I put it in hibernation for the night right after I ripped it out, because I was like, I can't look at you right now. It's not your fault. It was so much work to take out. Anyway, so yesterday I was working on that design project, and I finished it during the day, but I was taking breaks in between doing pattern repeats and figuring things out and rewriting and all those things. And I started I started 3 new projects. So those are my works in progress now, because everything else was finished. I did a gauge swatch for Gabriel's sweater. Ever ago, I asked on the podcast what sort of sweater I should make for Gabriel, and I believe, and if I'm wrong, I'm really, really sorry, but I'm pretty sure that Java Jenny suggested the color block. I'm pretty sure she made it for her 2 or one of her 2 children, and I was like, yes, that will be perfect. So it's been sitting there waiting for me. I actually had intended to make Gabriel's sweater last month, and I just didn't get to it. So I swatched it, and this is going to be the color block. So the yarns, I'm actually using 2 fingering weight yarn held together, and I got gauge, so that's good. It might be a little bit off, so it might be a smidge big on him, but that's good because he will just be able to wear it for the rest of this winter, spring, and also next year. I'm actually making it extra long and a little bit big so that he could hopefully wear it next year and the year after. We'll see. Depends on how crazy he grows. It's hard to tell once they start getting, you know, almost to middle school. Don't even talk about it. That's scary. I mean, he's in kindergarten now, but, you know, halfway through elementary school, he's almost to middle school. Let's not talk about it. So the yarns that I'm using are Serenity Sock Weight in charcoal, and this is Lion Brand Sock Ease in the Red Hots colorway. So those two held double are giving me this. So pretty. I wish that I could wear orange because I think that this is so pretty. I just think that looks not so good next to my skin. But it will look so good on him because he's got light hair, light eyes. It'll be perfect for him. And he's really excited. I showed him the sweater pattern and I was like, hey, so what do you think of this sweater? And he was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, if I made that for you, would you like it? He was like, yeah, that'd be really cool, Mom. So that's exciting. I'm not very far because, you know, I cast on yesterday. I have the collar. I have one more row for the collar, and then I start the rest of the yoke. So I am, I'm loving these colors together so much. I was actually in a VKN yesterday because my friends were all miraculously around during the day, and I was around during the day. So we all hung out, and it was amazing because I haven't done that in a while. And I just couldn't stop like talking about how much I loved this yarn combination. I think it's so pretty. And I'm actually kind of thinking of leaving this gauge swatch if I don't need the yarn at the end, who knows, and just adding a black border around it and using it in my barn racing square blanket. I also started, it doesn't look like much, but I started what will be a pair of gloves. It's just the cast on right now. But okay, I always feel majorly accomplished when I finish a cast on because cast ons are arduous. Once you get through the cast on for something, then you can more or less just go with it. You don't have to count so much for most things. You can just kind of go. So these are cast on. The yarn is absolutely beautiful. This is Hippie Penguin in, I think it's the BFL fingering weight base, but it might just be the merino. I have the tag around here somewhere and I will hopefully find it by next week. And this colorway is the Gray Wizard. She did a series based on the first Hobbit movie, and this is based on Gandalf, which I love. I'm using US 1 2.25 millimeter needles, and the pattern that I will be using is called Naughty by Julia Mueller. So I'm making gloves with fingers for Steve. With fingers. I tried to talk him into mittens and he was like, no, just, if you don't want to make it, then just, I have this hair that's crazy. If you don't want to make it, then I'll just go out and buy gloves. And I was like, the whole point of you asking me, because he asked me to make them, is because commercial gloves are not warm enough. So of course I will make you some gloves. I just wanted to be lazy and make mittens instead. So I wanted a pattern for that because it's been a while since I've made anything where I had to like figure out stitch counts for fingers and stuff. And this pattern won because I wanted to do gloves with a 60 stitch cast on, and these ones have a 60 stitch cast on. So that's exciting. And the hands there's no patterning on the hands, but there's a really cool cable section right here on the wrist. And it's cable and ribbing, and it's gorgeous. You'll see it. So that's what I went with, and hopefully he'll like it. I didn't want to put too much on the hands because he will be wearing them to work, and while he will pretty much wear any socks that I make him, any color, any pattern, he's a little more conservative about what people can actually see all the time. So I wanted to make the gloves a little more conservative. The other thing that I started is, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I showed you the Horcrux Club fiber that Josh sent me, and I started spinning the first one. I want to spin what would be a lace weight 2-ply, which is how I'm testing it, but I'm going to Navajo ply it so that it will be like a light fingering, because I don't want to lace, and I prefer, for me, the smoothness of a 3-ply versus a 2-ply. So I laid out the fibers, the 7 Horcruxes, plus the bonus, which is the Hedwig fiber, which is what I'm starting with, so that I could make a gradient, go from lightest to darkest. And I've just barely started. It is, I don't know what I'm going to make with the yarn after I finish it, but I know I want it to be a gradient, and it's just, oh, this yarn is, or this fiber is so soft and so fluffy, and it's amazing. It's got super fine merino, yak, and silk, and Angelina. So I think you can see the, can you see? Yeah, there you go. There's some Angelina. I know it's a little bit washed out a tiny bit because of my lighting today. It's winter though. You guys know how winter lighting goes, and it's spinning up very fine. I'm just loving the spin. I had that other fiber, the green fiber that I was working on last month, and I did spin on it, but just a very little bit, like, I don't know, maybe 2 hours worth of spinning on it. I love the colors, but I'm not loving the fiber. And since I took that huge break off from spinning, like December for sure, but I don't think that I spun very much in November either. Since I took off that huge break, I feel like I need to be working on something that I really, really love. And I really love this project. Also, I'm using my Golding spindle, and it is a lace weight spindle, and it's a small spindle. So I'm keeping it in this Perline cookie tin because it's perfect. It's got hard sides, so my spindle won't get crushed, and it's just barely tall enough so my spindle doesn't move around a lot in it, and it's big enough to hold my spindle and the fiber that I'm spinning at the same time. So it's very good all around for keeping my spindle and fiber safe from children and cats and my clumsy self when I'm not working on it. And everything that's on my spindle right now is what I've spun in the last 2 days, which is kind of, it doesn't look like a lot, but I'm spinning lace weight, so it's kind of a lot, which is fantastic because I really missed spinning. I just wasn't loving what I was spinning. So I'll get back to that. I'm thinking maybe if I can spin like once a week on that, just a little bit once a week, just so it keeps going, so it's not sitting there not being worked on, that will be fine. I finished that barn raising square that I was working on last week. I did not start another one, but I finished it, and I think that this is the 8th one. It's the 7th or the 8th. Can't remember. But that's what it looks like. It's Hippie Penguin from the Carnival Club. It's the watermelon colorway. I made Mara's Christmas socks out of it. And I love these colors. The pink with the green and the white. And the little black flecks in it. Love this yarn. It's such a pretty fun colorway. So I'll be starting a new barn raising square, probably while I'm editing this. I have my last installment of New Things from Josh today. So the first one, he even told me what this was. We were in a VKN and he told me what it was, and I didn't write it down, and I don't remember what it is, but it's really pretty. It's greens with a kind of purpley gray color in it, and darker greens that almost go brownish. It's really, really lovely. I'm not sure what I want to make with it yet, but it is so pretty. So very pretty. He also sent me this sample of sock weight yarn from Marigold Jen. It is called Black Magic, and it's a BFL nylon base. Super pretty. Super pretty. So it will probably go in my sock yarn blanket, unless I find some color work thing that just needs a little bit of something. It's going to sit around for a little while before I make a decision. And for fiber, this is from Gourmet Stash, and I don't remember what this is called. This was the colorway that she made based on Outlander. Oh, what was it called? I don't remember. I don't know. It's the Outlander colorway. So it's just so pretty. It's got I don't even remember what it has in it. Some of these have sparkle in them and some of them don't, because Josh ordered them from him and he was like, I don't know how I feel about sparkle, and then he saw the sparkle, so he kept some of the sparkle and he kept some without sparkle. So it's just really, really pretty. I'm super excited to spin these too because I'm loving the Gourmet Stash that I'm spinning right now, but I'm not going to spin all of my Gourmet Stash all at once because then it will be all gone. I also have a new pin, a new button. This is the Dauntless button. Our club, mine and Jenna and Lisa's club for Divergent, has started. The first installment is out, and the first installment is the Choosing socks from Lisa with beautiful yarn. What is it? One choice can change you. I don't remember what the yarn is called. It's whatever the descriptor line at the top of the back cover says. One choice can whatever define you. I don't remember what it is. It's beautiful though, and the pattern is lovely. And everybody got put in teams. So my team is Dauntless. I finished reading An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. So good. It was so good and so funny. I highly enjoyed that book and am looking forward to my next John Green book, which I'll be starting shortly-ish. I picked up Life in Motion, which is about Misty Copeland, who is a black ballerina who came to it late. She was 13 when she started dancing, when she learned about ballet, which is ridiculously late. And she is a principal or a soloist at ABT. I don't remember which one. I'm a little more than halfway through it. It's interesting. It's a biography, so it's, it's kind of interesting, but it's not the same interesting as a story where you're like, oh, what happened next? What happened next? It's okay. I'm still listening to Gone with the Wind. I'm officially on the second half. I officially had to start the second grouping of discs. It's going well. I am enjoying the story so far. But it's not, it's not amazing. I feel like I'm on a downslope of my reading cycle. Pretty much everything I do cyclically. Reading is no. Reading and knitting and spinning, everything, I think you can tell that I do cyclically. I have really high points with things where I'm like, oh, I just want to do this all the time. And then I have low points. So I think I'm at a down point with reading right now. I'll get back to it. I'm not worried. So January finished and I had some goals for the year, resolutions, whatever you want to call them. So I'll give you a quick recap. I had 6 things that I wanted to do 15 minutes a day during the month. I was successful with knitting, crocheting, reading, and cleaning. I was not successful with writing, working out, and spinning. I would say that spinning was probably my worst, and then writing, and then working out. Although I did pick up the writing at the end of the month because I was working on that pattern. So 50-50, that's not too bad for getting into something that that I want to be more of like a lifestyle change, not just a I just want to do this for a year sort of thing. Like these are things that I want to be working on all the time so I can get better at them. So I'll take it and I will do better this month, hopefully. And then the de-stash, not de-stash, the working from stash goal, I am doing pretty well on. Everything that I worked on last month, I believe, came from stash. I don't think I bought anything last month. Pretty sure it all came from stash before the beginning of the year. And the hat that I made definitely used 2 skeins of yarn that were stashed before 2014. So both parts of that were met. And it looks like I'm going to be going strong for it this month. Even if I only finish the things that I've started this week, even if I only finish those 2 projects, I have 5 balls going into the sweater and 1 ball going into the gloves. And all of those were stashed before 2014. So I'm doing pretty well on that, which is good. Of course, I have a bunch of other projects in mind for other things. So I should be well on my way to that goal. And as you can see, I have not fixed my shelves and redone my stash, but I'm actually going to, while this is transferring into my editing software, I'm going to fix those top 2 shelves and make them ready for what needs to happen next on my stashing stuff. Anyway, that's a lot of talk. I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string, and I will see you next week. Bye!